So I'm going to show off some audio today. I've got a soundtrack with, well, an album with 5 tracks on it for Idleverse. All credit for this is from a random Reddit user who messaged me after one of my last posts. Basically, they were doing a university project in music production, and they offered to just make me a few tracks for my project. And I was like, hell yeah. And I gave them a little bit of money, as much as I could afford afterwards, because honestly I think it's super cool. So check this out. I built a little media player using Arwes with some fancy animations, but that's just React stuff. Listen to this. Is that not the coolest sci-fi backing ever? I need to fix the autoplay. But yeah, there are a few more tracks. That first one is my favorite, but I'll leave this playing in the background. Some of the with another track, a little bit of ambiance. So in addition to this, we've got some AI generated voiceovers using 11 Labs. These are not perfect, but you know, I don't have people to do audio for me because I'm poor, so this will do for now. But it's more about the React tech that I want to show off here and the actual kind of UI, UX of it. So check this out. You've got a race, a background, and a faction. I won't go into the lore of it. I'll leave that for another video maybe. But yeah, let's have a look.
Segregated from humanity for centuries, these once Homo sapiens have resorted to any and all means to survive the harsh void of space. Many have literally shed their skin to avoid various radiation-induced cancers, or replaced limbs and organs with their own brand of horrific cybernetics. This race of self-vivisectionists have even been rumored to worship pain.
So this is a web app, right? This is a website. So I've done my best to use Arwes, like the primitives they have, like the text cursor stuff, to sync it with some audio files, like to sync the duration of the animation with the audio, to kind of make it try and read it out as best as I can. I think it's turned out pretty well. So for each one, it's all like they've got different voices, and it will read out a little paragraph of flavor text here. Once you've listened to one all the way through,
the nomads are raised. The nomads.
It won't replay it, but you can actually manually replay it if you want.
Segregated from humanity for centuries.
But let's go with the UNC.
Divided human society on Terra. is now the authoritarian UNC, United Nations Conglomerate, emerging from a post-nuclear world war in the mid-2200s. Centralizing power in Paris, it brutally suppresses separatists, utilizing advanced mech suits to quell rebellion. Citizens lose individuality, serving the conglomerate devoid of free will or joy.
So we'll go with the UNC, who are inspired heavily by factions like, the Terrans in StarCraft, or like the altered carbon stuff with the humans. So yeah, so you pick a race and then you pick a background. So you've got ecologist or prospector. Now this is going to start playing into like RPG elements in the game. This is all visual for now. Like there's no actual gameplay impact on what you choose. That will change very shortly. I'm just trying to get the UX right with this nice little kind of civilization-esque, Civilization Beyond Earth-esque kind of character stepper here. So yeah, what about an ecologist?
Ecologist empires are characterized by a decentralized and democratic social structure where decision-making power is distributed among a network of ecologists, scientists, and environmental advocates.
The backgrounds are a bit boring, and honestly the voice models need a bit of work. The factions, however, I think are really cool. Listen to this.
The Ancients, as spacefaring humans have dubbed them, are a mysterious, yet seemingly benevolent Xenos race. Their skeletal remains were first discovered on Mars in the Sol system, along with technology that was eventually used to send faster-than-light communication to living ancients residing near the galactic core. We do not yet fully understand their language, but enough is known to get by. They have thus helped humanity from afar for centuries, drip-feeding technology and societal advice. Their true intentions remain unknown.
So you can see the final pronunciation of that word was not perfect, but 11 labs is what it is.
After the reverse engineering project of the ancient tech that resulted in FTL comms, some engineers working on deep space satellites received a repeating message in the ancient language for a few days until it suddenly stopped. The message simply read, "Do not trust them," along with FTL com coordinates that seemingly go nowhere. After receiving this message, the UNC on Terra sent a message to the ancients and received only a warning in return. Never attempt to contact the Knee Hills.
So yeah, let's have a look at the homeworld generation. I demoed this in a previous video, but I'll just show it off quickly now. So this is some 3JS. It's very basic. It's like essentially a sphere which we wrap a texture around. Let me just like reduce the radius of the rings for a second. So you can change your color palette. Maybe let's go with desert for this one. You can change the bias of the different colors on the planet and the texture it will generate. So here we've got like some nice little desert complementary colors, and if you want more or less of a certain color to like have a different continental structure, you can go with this. So like if you want an empty void, you can do that if you really want to, or if you want none of the final color, you can do that, or if you want loads of it, maybe like a really arid, barren kind of Mars-like world, we could go all the way down here and have like more of this kind of coloration or something like that. You can also change the resolution of the texture that's generated if you want a more detailed kind of granular structure. There is a basic atmosphere texture that you can like increase or decrease. You can regenerate the seed and just get like a completely new random texture generated from this UID. And you can also change the name, and I've even got a little name generator which I might have stolen from EVE Online, or someone posted something that they said was from EVE Online. But I mean, I think it's just a stringified generator with some cool sci-fi names. You can change the radius of your planet. You can zoom in and out. You can stop it rotating if you really want to. Like maybe you want a tidally locked planet to your star, but there's no star in this scene yet. And then there's the pixel filter, which I'm not going to let you configure in the future, but this is a debug view. I mean, this UI that you're seeing right now, this UX is very much for me debugging rather than what will actually be there in the kind of final system creator for the Empire generation. But I think it's pretty cool, right? Like you can go like full retro with your planet, and it even works. It's like a 3D shader, so it works with everything. And then you got the ring editor as well, so we can create rings. Can make a nice kind of like Saturn-like ring here. Can even change the colors if we want. Maybe let's have a crazy like purple and brown and red ring or something obscene like that. And they can be banded or they can be rocky. Maybe you want something with like really dense rocks or something like that. It's very simple how I've done it. It's basically just like generating textures and mapping them onto meshes. There is one cool piece of tech here though, for anyone who's interested in the web tech side of it. So the pixel data for the textures themselves are generated using a web worker. So it doesn't, like when I regenerate the textures, it doesn't block the main event loop thread. Like so basically I can demo that here. If I change the resolution, it's going to generate a new texture, right? So like the higher it is, the bigger the texture, the longer it takes to generate. And you can open the dev tools and have a look. You see that last one took quite a long time. If I mess with this, it's gonna like on every kind of mouse, on every scroll end event on this slider, it's going to generate a new texture. So like if I just do this and like spam it, you'll see it will actually continually generate them, and then the main thread will catch up with the web worker. So the web worker is pushing like 500 text or 500 pixel arrays onto the pixel matrices onto the 3JS canvas renderer, WebGL renderer that I'm using here, and then it's going to like push them all in as they come. So it's not, but you can see the rest of the UI does not lag while this is happening, even though there are probably thousands of texture generations going on here in a separate thread in your browser. So I think that's some pretty cool tech. I was really happy when I got that working, and I'm going to be using that for a lot of other stuff in the future if I'm doing any procedural generation stuff. Also got some very basic like vector mapping going on with like a cursor on the planet, and I'd love to use some of like Sebastian Laug's like terrain generation, 3D terrain generation stuff, like tech that he did in his C# video with Unity in the future, but that's a little bit beyond me right now. But who knows, in the future we might have 3D terrain on a sphere. We'll see. But yeah, so that's the current character creation for Idleverse. And yeah, thanks a lot for listening.